I've been cheated on in every relationship I've had, but I thought I could trust my husband. I just found out he's been cheating on me, because a woman reached out to me to tell me she's pregnant with his baby and she only just pieced together that he's married. He admitted she's telling the truth and that he's been cheating on me for our entire marriage, including during my pregnancies. I feel so stupid. There were plenty of signs, but I guess I just didn't want to notice them at the time. He won't even tell me why he did it. He is the sixth man to cheat on me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I maintain a healthy sexual relationship with him. I take care of my body and make an effort to look nice. I'm emotionally available and responsive to his needs. Why have so many men decided I'm not good enough? What could I possibly be doing to cause this? While no fault lies with you, you should stop ignoring signs and address issues in your future relationships earlier on. Draw boundaries and be firm on it. No disrespect, but the people forgetting she is the common denominator and pointing the blame outside won't help you up. Yes, it hurts, but in order for you to heal and choose better men, you have to dig deep and find out why you're constantly with such men, as there are men who are loving, kind and will respect your boundaries, but you have a habit of choosing the opposite. Do a deep dive into your beliefs about yourself, love, relationships and if necessary, chat to a trained professional. Taking no accountability at all for your life will keep you being a victim and you will continue to attract the same men. This isn't woo-woo stuff, this is reality. Your choice of men speaks volumes about how you feel about yourself subconsciously. I promise, this isn't victim blaming, but I think you're maybe just too good a person. People can sense that. If you're kind, a bit of a pushover, forgiving, or accommodating, they'll take advantage of it mercilessly. I've fallen victim to it too. I become bottom of the totem pole, the punching bag, where my significant other thinks it's better to ask forgiveness rather than permission for something. Sadly, I don't know of a fix, because I can't change who I am, and you shouldn't have to. I can only hope you'll one day find someone who will treat you right, and both cherish and respect you. Perhaps the things you find attractive in a man do not occur naturally in monogamous men? It doesn't have to be about you doing something wrong. Or, for that matter, anyone doing something wrong. But, if monogamy is important to you fundamentally, then you should probably give consideration to men you may not previously have found to be your type. Explore well outside that type, and see what happens. What were their signs of? It is not you. I am not sure where you are meeting the men in your life, but some men are pigs. I'm the only one trying in our marriage. Looking for support that it is okay to leave. In the last 2 months, I've been the only one trying in my marriage with my husband. He moved out, saying that I suck at cleaning and that he'd rather live with his parents. When I ask him if he still wants to be together or wants to try, he doesn't give me a straight answer like yes or no, but instead says him or I don't know. When I ask him if he would be interested in going to couples therapy, he says no. When I ask him if he wants to get a divorce, he also says no, that costs money or I'm too lazy to divorce, but when I ask him if he wants to try, he just says or maybe. I am getting increasingly tired of the fact that I'm the only person making an effort. We've been married for only a year and instead of actually trying to work things out with me, he never mentioned my cleaning being a problem until he left me, and I have apologized hundreds of times and swore to do better. He just walked out of his marriage. Sometimes he asks me to go with him to doctor appointments or stuff like that, but then says, "Oh, I just asked you because it's boring to go alone," and is overall not at all making any effort. But I feel immense guilt at the idea of actually divorcing him and leaving him because I took it seriously when I married him that we will be together for better or for worse, till death do us part. I guess I just need some moral support that it is okay to leave a husband who really doesn't care. He literally moved out. He has left you, you're not the one making the decision. Feel no guilt about getting a divorce. He's just stringing you along because he's lazy. Edit to add. Marriages are a partnership, and even if it were primarily your responsibility to clean, which only makes sense if you do not work outside the home, you both have a responsibility to care for each other, and he's not living up to the contract you made when you wed. Also, if he's not going to treat you properly, don't let him waste your prime years by deferring divorce. He left you. He moved out. Your marriage is already over. Just accept that and hire a divorce lawyer. Divorce him. It sounds like the cleaning is just an excuse and he is just not interested in you anymore and wants to be single again, but divorce is too expensive. I know how you feel because I'm too scared to walk out on my relationship even when I'm the only one making an effort. So be better than me. He did the first step in moving out, so you do the next with filing for divorce. This person does not love or respect you. He has checked out and is keeping you as a placeholder. He is trying to knock you down emotionally, so you conform to his standard as a wife. He belittles you, calls you lazy and says you suck at cleaning, that he would rather live with his parents. He wants a mommy, not a wife, and that's why he wants to live with his parents. Do they cater to him while he's living there? If so, there is your answer. You deserve better and someone who loves and respects you and would be willing to work on your relationship instead of running away. I didn't even get past the second paragraph. He is immature and a loser. You have my permission to divorce. He is immature, it sounds like, and expected a housemaid. My partner does something disgusting when he thinks I'm asleep and I don't know what to do. My 31F partner, 33M, has been doing something since the start of our relationship that I caught him doing very early on, and I don't know how to feel about it. Getting straight to it, when we are in bed and I guess he thinks I'm asleep, he picks his nose and eats his boogers. The first time I saw him do this, we were very early in our live-in relationship. I was blown away by seeing him do this that I think I was literally in shock. Like, did I really just fucking see that? Fast forward 7 years later. In a really odd coincidence, I was thinking about that horrid memory yesterday. And thought to myself, there's no way he still does that. Guess what little ol' me saw him doing when I briefly woke up in the middle of the night last night? Him browsing his phone, picked his nose twice and ate the booger both times. What the fuck should I do? Do I bring this up to him? I'm already not a huge fan of tongue kissing, but this makes me never ever want to do that again with him. But I don't want to embarrass him. Clearly this is something he's been doing since he was a child, but how the fuck has he not broken the habit? Do they taste good? Jesus Christ. I'm just disturbed and confused. I love him with my whole heart, but this is vile. Please help me. Edit. Some people have actually given me good advice, so thank you to them. To every person saying, "You swallow snot, what's the difference?" ? I am well aware of this. I'm grossed out, not a complete fucking idiot. Consciously or unconsciously eating a booger is gross to me. Plain and simple. Thanks again to the actual kind people not calling me a weird asshole or saying I must be an annoying person. I love this man with my heart and soul, and this would never be a deal breaker. I was just curious if anyone could actually advise me on what I could do. Next time I will not be asking the internet for advice on anything. Pick your own nose and offer him your boogers. Unpopular opinion maybe, but I don't think it really matters. Everyone is constantly swallowing boogers, because our oral cavity and nasal cavity are directly connected. Sniff really hard and swallow. You've accomplished the same thing using a slightly different face tube. Honestly, there are probably more people than we realize who have this habit. I witnessed one of my friends from college do it a few times. When I finally mentioned it, she said, "Our fingers wouldn't be nostril-sized if we weren't meant to pick our noses." Lol. Anyway, personally I'd be a little grossed out, but it wouldn't be a deal-breaker. But I'm not the most squeamish person. I'm sure there are a few habits of mine that the general population would consider gross as well. If you want to confront him, just catch him in the act and point it out. He'll probably be embarrassed and have no real explanation, but if you feel that's constructive, then go for it. The result will probably be that he becomes more secretive with it. I doubt your opinion will really stop it altogether. Hey, your hubby is onto something. It just might be good for you. For what it's worth, never have kids. You think booger eating is gross? They'll teach you a whole new meaning of the word. Assert dominance. Pick his nose and eat them all first. Neighbor, 30s F, won't stop flirting with boyfriend, 22 male. Hello all. Throw away because my neighbors might be on Reddit. Basically my boyfriend, 22 male, and I, 21 female, moved to a very rural area in a different state to help his aunt, 82 female, maintain her property. On her property there is a second house where her deceased son's friends now live. There is D, 30s F, and her fiancé M, 30s M, live with their mom. My boyfriend and I have become great friends with them and work together outside making renovations, helping them build their own home, cleaning up the big property and all the things that come with restoring a neglected home. D is unemployed and she sees all the work we are doing outside and never comes to help us, and we therefore have less of a relationship with her. It is known that she has cheated on and broken up with them in the past, but M is very much in love and chooses to ignore signs. When my boyfriend and I first moved up in June of 2021, we saw her probably once every 2 weeks. As time goes on we do see her more frequently now at about 2 or 3 times a week. Over time she has begun calling him handsome, cute, trying to touch his hair. He is black and has dreads and we live in a very rural conservative area. Think Trump mailboxes, feeling his arms. My boyfriend and I have spoken and he agrees that he sees it too. He doesn't like to spend much time around her for other reasons and stopped going to their house to see M and now only hangs out with M outside. I've made it clear that my boyfriend and I are together and in love, and we are reasonably affectionate people. Until recently, I had never seen her so much as kiss M, not even on New Year's. In recent times, she's begun copying everything that my boyfriend and I do with her fiancé. If my boyfriend holds my hand she goes and holds M's. If I kiss my BF, she kisses M. If my boyfriend puts flowers in my hair she'll ask M why he won't do it. Once, she got high and made a joke about the orgy starting and looked at my boyfriend in a very disturbing way. She has also told my boyfriend to stop flirting with her in front of me when my boyfriend was in no way doing anything other than normal conversation. He laughed and told her he wasn't flirting with her and then pulled me close to him, so I'm proud of him and his responses so far. He generally give her a look and or tells her something to knock it off, but she doesn't seem to be getting the message. I've asked Auntie what she thinks I should do about the situation and she basically has told me not to say anything and that it will fade away. It didn't bother me too much because I trust my BF, so I decided to see if she would eventually back off. Yesterday, M, my BF, and I had been cutting down trees all day and were enjoying a few beers when we stepped inside the house my boyfriend and I live in for some food and D was inside venting to Auntie about some fight M and his mom had. She comes into the kitchen and tells my boyfriend he looks handsome. Very simple and very direct. I was buzzed so I didn't risk saying anything and just gave her a pointed look, but it's pissed me off enough that I feel like I really need to say something to her. I've never been in this situation of a friend flirting with a boyfriend, let alone an older neighbor with a fiancé. I don't know if I should talk with them about it, if I should hold my tongue, if I should bring this up her one-on-one, or when it happens next. TL.Dr. Neighbor won't stop flirting with boyfriend and I don't know how to handle the situation. It would be best if it came from your boyfriend rather than you, because God knows this psycho will try and spin it around on how insecure and controlling you are. Your boyfriend just needs to shut it down every time she says something. I had a friend like this when I was young and her actual name was Karen. I told her to stop throwing herself at my husband because he wasn't interested in her. She replied, if he wants me to stop, he can tell me himself. I repeated the conversation to him that night and the next time we saw her, she came over to put a coupon in his pocket. He very loudly said, this shish carrot tea stops now. I don't like you. I put up with it because I work for your brother, but you come near me again and I will quit. She sort of locked eyes with my husband's boss, her brother, and left. Your boyfriend needs to be rude to put her in her place. I have a feeling if you confront D, then she will assume your boyfriend is into it, and that's why you're the one saying something instead of him. If I were in your boyfriend's shoes, I'd talk to her one-on-one, but outside so she doesn't think I'm initiating something, and tell her she's making me uncomfortable because it seems like she is coming on to me and I do not reciprocate those feelings. Then if she continues, whether others are around or not, that's when I'd say something like, D, we talked about this. You're making me uncomfortable again. I live in a very racist area so I know from whence I speak. You are playing with fire. She's shown you that she's manipulative, dishonest, doesn't respect boundaries, and fetishizes your boyfriend for being black. What do you think happens if she really goes for it and becomes angry and humiliated when he rejects her? Do you want to take that chance? Who do you think all the local police voted for in a town covered in Trump signs? How do you think this would end for him? You shouldn't have to say anything about it. It's on your boyfriend to be direct with her and tell her to cut it out.